All right. Shout out to everyone in the chat today. I do apologize for my voice and all that. Currently a little bit sick, but we're going to get through the video today. Shout out to everyone in the chat at the moment. Thank you, Jazzy, for coming in earlier, helping me test out my stream and all that. Make sure, everyone, if you do enjoy the content I bring today, please make sure you like and subscribe down below. And also, if you have just missed out on a couple other things, I'm obviously saying this really early on, but if you missed out on a couple of things, you can watch this stream back as a VOD, as a video and all that. Hopefully my voice doesn't sound so ugly out there, but really do appreciate every single one of you guys for coming in today. Thank you so much to all the chat out there that has got into it already. And also make sure you continue to voice your opinion in the chat down below, especially on this type of video. I feel like this is what makes this one special, obviously being a ladder prediction. That's the reason why I really wanted to do a live stream, because I wanted to see what your thoughts are out there as well currently while I go through this. So firstly, I'm just going to quickly check if my stream's working very well. Yep, sweet. Cool. Just wait for a couple of people to come into the chat before we even start this one, but I will be doing this on a tier list, so it's going to be really exciting. Obviously, I would talk about who's my first, second, third, and all that, but it will be in tiers as well. So whoever's first in the first tier would be obviously number 1, 2, and 3, and that's the way we're going to look at it really today. We're going to go through every team in the competition, my thoughts overall, and also where they're going to sit. So obviously there is going to be a couple of teams here that won't be sitting in an amazing position in 2024. But there's a lot of teams this year that are in swing positions to where I can see them be like top notch. They could like go into the top 8, some to even around that top 8 into the top 4. But there's also a lot of teams that I could see that could fall off a cliff. And that's the reason why I'm going to put a couple of teams where I think I am today. So shout out to everyone in the chat. Please make sure, don't be shy. Any opinions you got on this video or on your team and that, please make sure you chuck it in the chat down below. But we're going to be doing our ladder prediction today. Thank you so much, guys, everyone tuning in as well. As I just said too, I am a little bit sick, so hopefully you can deal with my voice the way it is at the moment. We won't do it in a crazy stream, but we're going to go through every team as much as I can and my thoughts on where they're going to sit this season. So shout out Telly, brah. The Wabados. Fucking A, brother. Fucking A. I'm really excited to see the season come up ahead, guys. So let's get straight into my tier list video. What's going on, my bro? Yeah, old Boogie, huh? Shaney? What's happening? And I appreciate every single one of you guys coming in. I also do have my little live chat feature down below. Shout out to Jazzy that came in very early, helped me test out my stream and all that sort of stuff and test out this chat. It will be a little bit delayed, I'm guessing, the way everything's going in that, but I hope you guys do enjoy that little feature and stuff and enjoy the overlay that I've got going on today. But here's the tier list. So obviously I'm just going to go through from obviously the Panthers all the way down to the Dolphins, and we'll go from there. And really give you my thoughts on where every team's going to be sitting. So, may as well get into it. Shano, obviously, let's trot with the Broncos signal. I know where you're going to be sitting here, brother. I'm excited for the Broncos season this season too. All right. So the first team, Cab, off the rank, obviously the premiers of last year, the Penrith Panthers. I feel like, obviously, this is a team that I can't see dropping out of that top 4 discussion, in my opinion. Thank you so much, Pimp Shaney, for the subscriber. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you, brother. I really do. Thank you for coming through. So, yeah, with the Panthers, obviously, coming into the season, they lose Critter, lose Spence. I feel like they can cover most of those positions. We saw in the World Club Challenge, obviously, Taylor May playing in that center position that Critter left with. I thought he played decent there, but I've already given out. If you haven't gone and checked out my TikTok and all that, please make sure you go check that out down below as well and follow if you do enjoy that sort of content. I did say that my thoughts around the Panthers and Taylor May and Suni Turuva on that side, I would rather see Taylor May be more so the winger. Obviously, really unfortunate to see Turuva go down with a PCL injury. There's no big news on how bad that is at the moment, whether he can play round 1 or not. But it really did show off why I really do enjoy watching Taylor May playing in the wing. His work he gets out from the back end is just absolutely incredible. His kick returns is just on a different level. Tackle breakability, and just having that back line of like, you know, you're going to kick either to Toto or you're going to kick to Taylor May, and to me, they're a lot more worrying. I know Taruva's really good out of his back end as well, but I feel like out of all the three boys I just named there, I would just be so scared to see either Toto or Taylor May. And then you got the ghost in the middle, obviously, with Dylan Edwards. Shout out Hello Sport with the ghost there. But without any talking, I don't think we really need to touch on this too much because the Panthers are going to be great this year. Obviously, they can fall off depending on how Jerome Luai's situation going. Obviously, him leaving to the Tigers. But again, this team is just all class, so we're just going to chuck them in this 1 to 4 range. You will see where I'm kind of thinking they're going to be sitting this year. I'm thinking around that second, third spot, but we'll go through every other team and I'll give you my direct thoughts on the number where they're going to be sitting. So the next team off the rank is the Sharkies, and this is a team that I don't know where I'm like sitting with the Sharkies. I think they're good enough to be obviously still in this top 8 discussion, but I still also think that there's a lot of teams that are strengthening coming into this year. And with the Sharkies, with trying to go through a new halves combination, obviously Moylan leaving the club, they played a lot with Trindle towards the end of last season. But if Trindle and Hines have the same combination they brought in from the Indigenous game, I think they're going to be awesome. Defensively is the only thing I really worry about the Sharkies still. And this is something I've brought up multiple times with the Sharkies, with everyone bringing in Trindle and saying Trindle's going to change his team defensively. Trindle was averaging one of the most missed tackles in New South Wales Cup last year before he ended up getting picked up back to the Sharkies. He's a smaller body. He definitely moves better in defense, as in like with reads wise. I feel like Matty Moylan sometimes just misreads like no other. But I feel like Trindle, because he is a smaller body, he can be targeted in defense. But yeah, the Sharkies are so tough, man. I honestly really do think there's obviously another thing you could bring into the equation here. They do look like they had the easiest draw out of every team this year, judging by the stats being put up in the Fox League stats or whatever, if you guys did check that out. So they have an easy draw. Do I see them missing the 8? I don't see them. I see them on the edge of the 8 this year, honestly. So we'll go through the other teams I feel like are going to be having a better season or could really fight for them in that 8 position. But at the moment, I have them 8th, and I see them just sitting at 8th at the moment. I don't see them top 4. Also, you know, I can see them falling out of the 8. If things don't go their way, they don't change a couple of things, that's really where I'm sitting. Pimp Shaney. Sharks always strong on paper, backline defensively weak though. Royce Hunt is a beast. Yeah, that's another big thing with the Sharkies. Their middle forwards, they have a lot of depth, a lot of good depth in that. Hopefully Royce gets a bit more minutes this year and all that. You got Thomas Hazelton as well, who's an absolute gun as well. So they definitely have the building blocks to be an amazing team, especially when you look at it like AFB's coming 2025 as well. So this year, I feel like, I don't think they're going to be bad enough to fall out of the 8, even though, as I said before, I feel like there's other teams are going to be fighting for that 8 position anyway. I feel like next year is going to be the year for the Sharkies. If they really want to put it together, AFB is going to be that added piece on top of that. Jacko here, Sharkies, they will finish inside the 8, mainly due to easy draw, but will not win a finals game yet again. Yeah, I kind of see it very similarly to you, Jacko, brother. I feel like the easy draw really helps me put them in the 8 discussion this year. But I can also see, if anything, if the halves combination doesn't really gel, do they really, throw the baby with the bathwater, you know what I mean? Like, there's other positions up for grab as well, like Iro and Talakai. I know a lot of Sharkies fans wants Iro in there. I don't really feel like it sorts your problem as well, because Talakai is such a good attacking threat as well, which is the reason why you want to bring Iro in. Defensively, they're both very similar, and I don't know if you guys didn't notice that as well. Obviously, Talakai does make some really crazy misreads at times as well, but Iro can average a high miscount range in his games as well. So I don't want to be overhyped on Iro, but I do rate him highly as well. So maybe he'll get a position there. So moving on to the Cowboys. So the Cowboys, for me, when I saw the preseason very early on, I was very hyped for the Cowboys this year. I felt like last year they definitely dealt with a lot of stress coming off that World Cup year. having a lot of representatives in that World Cup team and stuff like that for Australia, Samoa, New Zealand. I just think that having that massive off season with the World Cup and then trying to belt them into form as well, I feel like maybe they just crumbled a little bit during the season. They had a lot of obviously injuries, suspensions, like Nanai missed a decent chunk of game. Lukey obviously missing a decent chunk of game, and that the missing of Luciano Leilua leaving does worry me a little bit. But from all accounts coming out of that preseason, apparently they are breaking records. We've seen that with like Scotty Drinkwater breaking records there, Tommy Dearden breaking the record as well, their 1.2s and stuff. So I think they're in really good stead this year to actually fight for that top 8 role again. Do I see them as a top 4 prospect at the moment? No. If you asked me before, I thought they were going to be my smoky for top 4, but at the moment, I'm not too sure. Nah, Williams, Ero's Ullman wasn't fantastic on it as well, but man, he could run. Yeah, 100%. It's the same with Iro, bro. Like, with the Sharkies and that, like, Iro can run the ball. You see Rugby League Guru absolutely adore him because he's got that Valentine Holmes sort of mold to him. I'm really excited to see if he even gets a shot this year and how he actually takes it. But the biggest thing for me, obviously, is still defense. And I feel like the Sharkies fans do want their defense to be a lot better than last year. And I don't know if Iro is going to fix that problem. And that's my honest opinion, especially if you're bringing Trindle in, who I also don't think is going to fix that problem of defensive ends. But back to the Cowboys. As I said, I feel like they're a team definitely fighting for the 8 this year. I got them inside my 8. I'm very high on the Cowboys. I think that Helam Lukey and Jeremiah Nanai are going to be a devastating duo on the edges there. I think Tommy Dearden is going to take a whole nother level as well. Big test for Peyton's, Jacko here, big test for Peyton's old school type coaching, but given the roster, should be at least 6. Yeah, that's where I really do see the Cowboys sitting. You pretty much nearly nailed my number there, Jacko, my brother. I see them around that 6 role. There is definitely teams where I could see them really going on a big run. I can see them challenging for the top 4, but benefit of the doubt, I'm going to go top, around that top 6 range. So the Cowboys, for me, round top 6. So next up, we got the Parramatta Eels. So the Parramatta Eels are one that I've been flipping on so much this year. There's a couple of these teams that I've found it so hard to put into positions. And, with these sort of videos, you just got to go with it. And you're going to be wrong either way. I know there's going to be things that I'm going to be saying here that are going to go completely the opposite way. And that's just the way it is in rugby league. It's pretty much impossible to predict like a full roster, full ladder. So Pimp Shaney, be interesting to see how Tamalolo goes this season. The cracks with Peyton could be an issue again. Unhealthy, top 8. Yeah, I do agree with you there too, my brother. Honestly, I think a lot of the talk around at the moment with the Cowboys is Toddy Peyton and his coaching style and stuff. I think he, obviously, with a fresh preseason, he should get these boys up there. And as I said before, from all accounts, they're hitting preseason hard this year. And they're breaking records. So that's all great signs for the Cowboys. They got the team on paper to do something amazing. I'm really excited to see Lukey get a whole lot more minutes and see what he can produce in a decent minutes. And hopefully no more injuries really going his way there. But back to the Parramatta Eels. This is, for me, one of like 2 of my biggest swing teams this year. Actually, there's a lot of them, but these are my 2 biggest swing teams. I could see Para going on a run, getting back into form and getting back into that top 8 discussion. Do I see him top 4 this year? No, not honestly. But in that top 8 discussion, 100%. Do I see them dipping pretty low? I can see a couple other teams surprising and them dipping into that bottom 13 to 16 range. I don't really see them getting second last, honestly. I think, 13 to 10, 13 to 9, and then into that 8 range is really where I'm seeing the Parramatta Eels at the moment. Obviously, I just want to see Dylan Brown obviously did miss a lot of footy last year due to all that off-field indiscretions and all that. Hopefully, he's got everything in check this year, stays healthy, stays fit, because I think he's one of the biggest keys for this Parramatta Eels squad. His defense is on a different level, and then matched up, obviously, with Mitchell Moses. The biggest thing, I love Mitchell Moses to death. I think he's got so much potential, but does he have the consistency to hold a Parramatta Eels team that can be fairly inconsistent as well? They fluctuate very much like a Mitchell Moses. You can see Mitchell Moses get shut out some games. Then you can see Mitchell Moses actually look like a superstar out there. I thought in Origin, he played a couple of really nice moments there. Showed like he wanted to get himself into the game. He's got a good kick and chase game. Got some speed to him and all that. He just needs to stay consistent, and that's the biggest thing with Mitchell Moses. Everything else I love about their squad. Will Benassini looks like he's going to be in for a massive year. Seeing that preseason trial against the Titans, I thought he was very impressive in that trial. Hopefully he grows an arm and a leg this year as well, because Sivo is another one that needs to pick up his work rate a little bit more, stay consistent. I feel like he's one of those bodies that's so big and strong, just doesn't run the same way as I expect him to run, if that makes sense to you. I just want to see him get in there, do all the dirty work, and really push this Parramatta Eels team into a really good ladder position this year. Jacko here, Eels will have a run sometime during the season, but they also go on a bad run as well. Finish outside the 8, which means Brad Arthur get the chop. That's definitely another big discussion as well. I remember in one of my last live streams and stuff, I had a question. I think it was from Levon. Shout out to Wise Up TV. If you haven't gone subbed out, go and subscribe, like a couple of videos and all that. I'll be doing live streams with him, obviously with all my Warriors thoughts. So go check him out. But he also said, who's the coach that's going to be on the chopping block this year? And I found it so hard. I had names that I never thought would be, if I said it last year, it would have been blasphemy, but coming into this year, Brad Arthur could be one of those names. And the other one is maybe with this Rabbitohs team, how Demetriou will go this year, whether if they fall apart again, does he get a ton more pressure on his position? But we'll get to the Rabbitohs a little bit later. So what's your thoughts, guys, at the moment? Parramatta, I'm got them around this 9 to 12 range at the moment. But as I said, this is why I'm doing this live stream today, guys. I want to check out what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. See if you can sway me to really think any other way. At the moment, I've got them 9 to 12. I'm going to be sitting there at the moment. Got them in that 10th position is my predicted ladder, but things could definitely change. Pimp Shaney, agree, Jacko, with Brad Arthur call. They need a new coaching style. It has been a little while now. I love the positive with Brad Arthur. He always seems to get the best out of his players, like at edge back rollers and stuff like that. I know that many edge back rollers that go to Parramatta Eels and just like grow an arm and a leg. Like Cartwright, coming from the Titans, looked like he was going to be done and dusted in footy, in my opinion. Had the potential to be amazing, but he just never got over that hump. And then he goes to the Parramatta Eels, looks amazing. Same with Isaiah Papali'i. Like, you know, being a Warriors fan, watching Papali'i day in, day out, he had moments where he looked amazing, then he fell off a cliff. Then went to Parramatta and his consistency just grew. It was just shot up in the roof. Like, then he got to the Tigers, kind of like, you know, he's a bit up and down there as well. So I feel like, you know, Arthur does amazing things in that way to give him a good game plan to go out. The only thing I don't agree with Brad Arthur is definitely his bench rotations. I still don't understand that. He's saying a lot of things this year that he wants a hooker to play 80 minutes, either Hands or Lussick. Great news for Supercoach. Bad news, in my opinion, for a player that, you know, could be blowing his load throughout that whole game. Brendan Hands is so young, so whether they go Joey Lussick, thinking that he's more experienced, he can handle that 80 minutes a lot better. There's really thoughts there. Montel, if they plays eyes up footy like the trial, they'll go a long way. Yeah, I feel like, you know, they're definitely one of my swing teams, my brother. Lane as well from Nas Williams. Yes, 100%. Lane looks amazing, and hopefully the Supercoach, he goes amazing this year. That's my biggest thing. Papali'i was a lazy trainer, died at the Wars, at a cut of pay, did him wonders at the Eels. Yeah, but also just got to give credit to Brad Arthur for what he did there, because you've seen it in multiple different ways. Like Sean Lane, yeah, as Nas said, Sean Lane grew an arm and a leg when going to the Eels. We had him at the Warriors, looked good. We let him go to the Doggies, and then the Doggies made him look okay, but then the Eels got him and made him look world class. So there's so many other names you could put up there that I give positives to Brad Arthur, but there's also other negatives to Brad Arthur. That consistency, his rotations on the bench, there's so many other big questions there. Montel, would love to see Hopgood's big minutes and maybe, yeah, play a bit of the Yo style. Yeah, I could definitely see him playing decent minutes. I think the biggest problem with that is the Ryan Madison bench rotation, how that really looks this year. We still didn't get a massive read on how it went last year. We saw obviously Matto play a little bit on the edge, but then we also it was chop and change a little bit last year. So I want to see more Hopgood. I think Hopgood's incredible, but I would have loved to seen that trade with the Doggies for Adokar for Ryan Madison. That rumor that happened in the preseason, I thought that trade would have been absolutely incredible for both teams. I thought the Doggies would get someone amazing in Ryan Madison, but also, the Parramatta Eels get an amazing strike outside back with Josh Adokar. I thought that would be an amazing trade. So comment down below your thoughts overall. If that was ever to happen, I honestly love that trade if that was ever to happen. But again, guys, if you're just tuning in, I do apologize. I am currently a little bit sick, so if I sound a little bit weird, I do apologize. But we got to cruise on. I want to do these videos for you guys. I want to get on live and all that and have a chat with you guys. So comment down below your thoughts as well. Your team will be coming up soon, whoever team that you will be picking and all that. But yeah, next up, the Melbourne Storm. So Melbourne is a team for me this year that has top 4 potential due to history. And it's really tough to always leave the Melbourne Storm out of a top 4 or a top 8 discussion in general due to their history of never really, missing the top 8 unless of salary cap issues. And with top 4, I don't think they've missed the top 4 in such a long time. And when they do, it's like a crisis for the Melbourne Storm. That just shows how great they are as a club. Coming into this year, I really do like, Naz Williams. I feel a bit sorry for Brad. Seems like a type to give 100%, but players can't adapt to, yeah, I do agree a little bit there. But back to the Melbourne Storm. Coming into this year, they get Sean Bloor with the loss of Justin Olam. We saw a lot of last year. They actually were on the outer with Olam, so I don't know if that will really hamper them too much. If it was a couple of years back, I would have said 100% that hampers them because Justin Olam was a Daily M Centre of the Year, was absolutely incredible. I'm not too sure really what happened there because you could see a little bit of Olam's form dip, but was it enough to say that he wouldn't get back to the form that he had previously? I was really not sure. But with adding in Sean Bloor, it beefs up that forward pack that needed a little bit more spark for in the middle there. Obviously, Welshie should be back off playing last year. He came back off an ACL last year, but a year later from that, usually apparently, it was Achilles. It was one of the, or whatever. But usually a year on from that, players get back into form where they really want to be. So you can't really take out either as well. Their spine's absolutely incredible. Papi, Munster, Hughes, Grant. That to me is just on a different level. I really am curious on the Trent Liero experience this year. I feel like that's the thing that really worries me in a way. I actually thought Liero had moments last year where he looked decent on the edge. Whether you didn't like him there, maybe you could drop into the bench. I'm not too sure how I feel about him in 13, the way they were running with trials. I do agree Joshy King should be pushing up to that front row position. I do like that look. I would play Sean Bloor for the middle. And I know a lot of people are like, Sean Bloor is an edge back rower. He's played a lot of edge back row, but I've seen Sean Bloor play for the middle as well with his deadly offloading game. And I love him for the middle. And I feel like it just gives him an added dimension for the middle. He's quick. He's got good footwork. As I said, the offload game, the passing game, I love from Bloory. So, and they could really push Liero back into that edge role. Or if you want to see someone like a Jack Howarth or whatever, step up into that position. Jacko here, Storm have a great spine, which will take them far, but their pack is not as good as the past. Could miss top 4, finish 5th. With saying that, Jacko, I actually have them. You've nailed me. Yeah, I have them 5th. It was really tough to leave him out of that top 4 discussion this year, and I could honestly see this one biting me in the ass because the Storm always find a way. But at the moment, I think their pack's good enough to get into there. I just want to see it first, especially with Papi coming back off injury. Not goal kicking by the looks of it. So Supercoach fans out there, it looks like Nick Meaney will be goal kicking for him, which is very disappointing because I was teeing up Papi for Supercoach all the way, straight away. For me, their backline just doesn't look as great as years past. I love Warbrick. I love Coates. Consistency is definitely a thing there. Their centers are obviously, Meany will be taking up one center, and whether it's a fight of Remus Smith, Sevan, I'd go Remus Smith. To me, that just doesn't seem like a Storm backline of the past. Like, we're going back to the days of you go far back to the days you had King and all that. You had the Storm backlines used to be incredible. You had obviously Israel Folau, Greg Inglis. I'm talking obviously salary cap days, but it's just this year. I don't know what it is with the Storm. I get this weird feeling, but they're going to bite me in the ass. I know it. Montel, I think Young Sua will float around the 18th, but push for a 14th jersey. I completely agree. I think I could really see him playing in that 14 jersey like Papi did coming back off injury. I could see that really working, especially with Papi trying to get back healthy this season. And I think Fa'alongo has the spark to really spark something off the bench as well. I think no matter what, you're going to put him out there. He's a little rocket. He's just going to bounce around, do what he wants to do. He looked incredible in the Pacific Championship. And every time we saw him against the Broncos the end of last year, he put on a show in that game. He was incredible. Katoa in for a great year. Jacko here, 100%. I do agree there too. I got a massive love for Eli Katoa. I loved him at the Warriors, and I wish we never really let him go, but I feel like it was definitely better for his career to let him go. Pimp Shaney, just want to see Papi have a healthy season. Dude needs his confidence back. The Storm backline not as strong as other teams. Yeah, I do agree there. And also, a lot of people will be talking about their forward pack as well, which is, I love Nas, love Welsh. But from there, Joshy King works hard. Eli Katoa, I love to death. Trent Liero is a bit inconsistent at times. Defensively, can find himself lacking. Has a bit of errors in his game as well. From there, you got the Alec McDonalds of the world and stuff like that. Just doesn't feel like a Storm team, and it's so weird to say that. But their spine will carry them around that, for me, around that 5th position. That's really where I see it. I can see him getting into the 4 as well, biting him in the ass, but I can see him around there. All right, up next, we got the Sydney Roosters. So this team looks absolutely incredible on paper. But the biggest question you got for this team, obviously, is the spine, how that gets connected this year. Obviously, a lot of criticism around Teddy last year that was for somewhat unfairly warranted, but also I could understand why people were putting the criticism on him because he has such a high ceiling. He's incredible. He's Daly M player, one of the best fullbacks of all time, probably top 5 fullbacks of all time, in my opinion. Sorry, guys, my fucking voice is leaving me right now. But their spine is the big thing for me, where Sammy Walker and Luke Keary are still so similar in halves. I don't see an amazing long kicking game out of those two. Their short kicking game's incredible, in my opinion. I really like how Luke Keary has that little stabbing nudge in behind. Sammy Walker has very similar things. Sammy has the ability to pull something out of nothing. But with that team that they have there, with the strike everywhere else, I feel like they could use someone sturdy that can just get him around across the park and just put players in positions. Where Sammy, I feel like, is one of those spark plug sort of players that can just make something happen, like a Munster type of player, younger SJ type players, all these sort of chat where, something out of nothings, but whether he can really take this team and get him across the park, because I haven't seen Luke Keary do anything any better with this team lately. Short side attacks, I think they're going to be absolutely incredible. I think Luke Keary is up there with the Cody Walkers and the Nico Hines for short side attacks in the world. Their forward pack is just to die for. Their depth in their forward pack is on a different level now, having Spencer Leniu. Doing my predicted team list on TikTok and all that early November really didn't help me at all. Now it's looking like, obviously you got Dupanua, who's looking like he's getting a starting role this weekend. You got Angus Crichton and all that. You got Egan Butcher and that looking like they're missing the squad this week. Terrell May. The team's absolutely incredible. I agree with you, Monty. Best forward back. Their forward pack is definitely up there. Nanad, go to Dragons, you fucks. Yeah, bro, we'll get to your Dragons a little bit soon, mate. You watch along for that one. So with the Roosters, I see them sitting in a top 4 discussion this year, 100%. The biggest thing with the Roosters is obviously trying to get a hold of the season very early on so they don't have to do it very late. And they've done that consistently the last couple of years where they've started really slow and found themselves trying to dig for that 8 position later on in the year. But from what I saw in the preseason, they started a little bit slow against the, who was it? I think it was against the, who was that preseason game? I've gone blank. Fuck. The Manly Seagulls, that's right. The Manly Seagulls that had barely anyone. They started slow, but then they clicked into gear. The one thing I did like, Kiri looks very healthy and fit. So that really, it got my eyes just lit up. I think, he's in for a good season. It's just they have to get it going very early on so they don't have to chase their tail later on. And that's where I see them being in that top 4 discussion. I could see them being later on in the 8. I don't see them missing the 8 this year. That's in my opinion. Jacko here. Chookies look great on paper, but questions. JWH aging. Walker, Kiri don't gel well at times. Teddy slowing down. The cheese style does it suit the team, etc. Should be top 4, but likely 7th. Yeah, this definitely is a chat that. Oh, sorry, I missed a couple other comments here. Shano. The Roosters every year, hot favourites as premiers. On paper, look solid as fuck. Yeah, it's one of those ones. And Monty, especially in inclusion of Spence. Yeah, Spencer's a massive one for me. I'm really excited to see how he goes as a starting front rower this weekend. Whether he does hold on to that role as a starting front rower, maybe they'll do a late switch with like a Terrell May or something like that coming off the bench to really get Spencer back into a position we've seen him before as that momentum forward coming off the bench. I'm really keen to see how he grows, especially in this Roosters squad. Kiri is one bad head knock away from retirement. Jacko here. Yeah, it's similar with Teddy as well. Like Teddy is in that mold as well. If they all stay healthy on the park, they get their shit done early, they should be in this top 4 discussion, but they do feel like a team, again, like they do for me every year, every time I predict them up in this top 4 sort of race. They do feel like a team that can slip all the way down to that 8th position and sneak into the finals. But they have the team on paper to do some incredible things in this competition. I think Teddy's in for a big year this year. As I said before, I thought Luke Keary looked fit as hell. So I'm really excited to see that. I thought Sammy Walker looked damaging in the trials as well. Tupanua looks incredible. Hopefully he's injury-free this year. Then you obviously got like Wong, who looks incredible. Spencer, I could just go on forever. So the Roosters in my top 4 discussion at the moment. I see them in that 3rd spot at the moment. But definitely you could change my mind in the discussion down below. See what your thoughts are. Shano, think of all the high kicks for Young and Dukbo. Yeah, deadly, 100%. Another discussion I do want to give out to you guys too before I leave the Roosters here is what's your thoughts on Joseph Suali'i and Billy Smith? Who gets in that left side centre role? Because seeing the team list this week, seeing Dommy Young obviously cannot play or may not play this weekend or whatever. He's not been named in that starting lineup. Joseph has been named on the right side wing. If Dom Young was healthy, who would have got that left side centre role? Would Billy Smith go straight into that one? Because it looked like they preferred him in the left side centre in the trials as well. I'm really curious to see that. That's my biggest thing is like what this backline will look like because it's incredible. Yeah. What can I say? Just the Roosters are incredible on paper. They just need to get it done on the field. But comment down below your thoughts on that. If you haven't got checked out my TikTok as well, I did a couple of like these sort of videos of who would you have? Billy Smith, Joseph Suali'i. I would go Joseph Suali'i as in like his talent and potential and all that, but Billy Smith is amazing in that center role. It's just injuries have always hampered him from getting to his potential. Teddy will have a good season, scabbing for the ball. I know your thoughts on him, Ned, my bro. I know your thoughts. Jacko here, Chookies are one of those teams that make the old saying true. A team of champions doesn't... Yeah, 100%, my brother. Yeah, 100%. So over to the Rabbitohs. Montel, you're definitely still in the chat, my brother. I know you're a Rabbitohs fan and all that. This one for me was really, really tough as well because I think on paper they have a top 4 team and like very similar to the Sydney Roosters, and I don't want to compare him to the Sydney Roosters, obviously the mad rivalry between you two and that, but I don't know if I still got question marks over Demetrio and his coaching and whatever's happening there. Obviously, they fell off a cliff last year after looking absolutely incredible. Rabbitohs are definitely one of these swing teams that I could see them being in that top 4 discussion straight away if everything clicks, everything goes their way. Latrell stays healthy. Cody Walker has another great season. Ilias actually steps up into a whole new level because I like Ilias. I think Ilias is incredible. Jackie Whiten, not incredible, but I feel like he can grow into a really good halfback that can take you into final series and deep into a final series. Monty, Rabbitohs equals Premiers, Jack Whiten, massive buy and inclusion on the left edge, which may be a bit, but yeah, best less. Yeah. Especially with Galol Matangi going to that left edge as well. I thought that was a really interesting thing. I don't know if that will suit Galol Matangi as much as what people really hope it was, because I feel like that edge back role on that side gets used so much as a block player for Latrell and Cody Walker to have their connection on that side, because that left side with AJ and is now going to have Jack White and is going to get so much attack on that side, whether Galol Matangi's touches will go down a little bit more, not being on the right side, where on the right side, I feel like he was one of Ilias's best players outside of him to really go through. So it's really, I'm up and down on the Rabbits. I think they're incredible on paper, but I can see reasons to why they can fall into a heap again this year. But I'm going to go with their class. I'm going to put them in top 8 discussion, Monty. I don't think they're top 4, but they have the potential to be a top 4, top 2 type of team. We saw it last year. They took down the Broncos, the Panthers, and the Storm. I think all 3 in a row and all that. They looked absolutely incredible. Looked like they were going to be the best team in the comp. That whatever happened last year, I don't know if that's still in the building a little bit, whether they're all looking at each other, whether Jack Whiten will become that great center that you want him to be. I think he's going to be incredible. It's still question marks obviously there. And there's also a lot of question marks over Ilias. And that's the biggest thing. I like Ilias. I think you guys should stick with Ilias. I think his kicking game's there. I think his defense is definitely improving. I see a lot of chat around them. So Jacko, I see him finish around 6. Great attacking side, but coaching staff needs to get their D in. Yeah, they're in top 8 for sure. For me, they're top 8 for sure. I'm going to have them around here at the moment on my predicted team list. And keep going in the comment section down below. You may change my mind here, but I've got them around 7th and 6th. I think the Cowboys will just edge them this year. It's so tough, man. The more I talk about it, the more I get in confused minds over all these teams here. But I'm going to stick with that. Shano, Bunnies will be top 8, surely. They don't have as many injuries this season compared to last. It comes down to the healthy Latrell, Walker, Galol Matangi, Graham, and Cook, of course. Obviously, Graham missing out, a decent chunk of time doesn't help him there. But all those other names that you have named is exactly why the Rabbitohs could be here. But I want to see it first. It's the big thing. And I know you could say exactly the same thing about the Roosters. I want to see it first. I think there's more. Oh, it's so tough, man. That's where I'm going to sit. Jacko, Graham is a huge out for, early rounds, 100%. But also gives potential spots for Isaiah Tass to maybe fight for some sort of role in that team. Obviously with Jack Whiten going into that left side center role. If you checked out my predicted team list, I don't agree with it now from what I did before. I think there was one of my earlier ones. I had Cheekham still in that left side back row role because I do like having Jai Arrow be the fill-in man to fill in multiple different positions and he gets the work done. I put Ilias on the right side because he played a lot of his junior footy right side centre. If you watched a lot of highlights and all that of Isaiah Tass back in the day. And I'll put Campbell Graham on that wing because I think Campbell Graham would be absolutely incredible on the wing. He's incredible at centre. I know that. And don't shoot me down for that. But he was incredible for Australia on the wing. And I think he'd be incredible for, the Blues need a winger or, the Rabbits. In my opinion, Isaiah Tass and Graham would be incredible for experience and also just that star level to have that lineup on paper would just look on a different level. But that's just my thoughts. I think we rounded out with the Rabbitohs. You see what I feel? They're a team that can get into that top 4 discussion, top 2 discussion. Just at the moment, I want to see it first. Redemption season for the Bunnies, Shano. Yeah, that'll be good. Don't forget AJ for any time try score. 100%, brother. Like, that guy will be getting into like $1.10s now for some reason. Like, that Irvine record is going to be broken, man. Incredible. All right, the Raiders. This is a really tough one because I can see if you come into the season, you see every team on paper and you see the spine of the Raiders, you can make a solid discussion of why they could be a wooden spoon team this year. The reason why I wouldn't put them as a wooden spoon team this year is, number one, their coach. I don't see Ricky Stewart. I reckon he'll blow up before any of that happens. I honestly think. There was moments a couple of years back where they were so inconsistent, they got themselves in that position. But that forward pack is just so solid. That depth in that forward is so solid. I love the look of Morgan Smitty's coming over. They got Hosking over there now too. It really comes down to that spine and that connection. I just don't think they have that connection to get into that top 8 discussion. So with the Raiders, I've got them around that bottom 13, 14, 15, 16 discussion. So I'm still iffy. On my predicted ladder right now, I've got the Raiders at 14th. I could see them being in that bottom 3 discussion, but at the moment, I'm taking that forward pack class over most of those other teams there in that bottom 4 discussion, bottom 3 discussion. Jacko, Raiders bottom 5, not wooden spoon, but will struggle. Yeah. And I think the Raiders know that they will struggle this year, but you could also see a surprise there. I just don't think they're going to be the surprise package that can get back into the 8 this year. I think they're the team to go backwards, but also grow for the future. They got a lot of great future juniors coming through the club now that look incredible. I also want to see more of Xavier Savage and all those boys. Montel, thoughts on KO Weeks? I like KO Weeks. I'm still yet to see if he's going to be in that 6 role. I would have Ethan Strange over him just at the moment. I think Ethan Strange looks very solid very early on in his first grade career. So, and KO has that strike that can happen out of nowhere, but he could also go missing a lot. And I feel like, body shapes and stuff, I think KO Weeks more so suits. I don't know how good he suits the frontline defense. I haven't seen enough of him to be like he's a great frontline defender for his body size. Ethan Strange has got a bit more of a thicker body size, deals a lot better with contact. So I'm shifting towards Ethan Strange in that discussion, but I think KO Week's speed and his ball handling skills are great. It's just consistency and not being just that strike player. Raiders, second to last. They're not looking good on paper, but have some strong forwards from Shano. Yeah, this is the thing, man. Like, their forward pack, for me, holds them above a lot of these other teams I'll discuss a little bit later on. Their spine doesn't do it for me to get any higher for me in my in my thoughts. Nanad, you can't go by the coach. They have been ordinary. Yeah. Well, they made the 8 last year, and you take Jack Whiten out of that squad, even though, Whiten didn't have his best season last year either. I still see them regressing, in my opinion. Especially, they're going to start the season still trying to figure out who their fullback is with Chevy Stewart, Rabana, or even they threw up Hopawate. If Sebastian Chris comes back off injury, what happens, suspension, what happens there? There's still a lot of discussions around the Raiders. That's why I got them around this mark. All right, moving on to the Brizzy Broncos. So this is a big one. Shano, obviously you're in a chat here. I know you're a Broncos fan and all that. The Brisbane Broncos is a team for me that I'm very, very excited for. I know they've lost Herbie and they've lost Flegler. But I feel like the juniors that are coming through that are replacing these guys I'm not saying they can get to that level straight away, but I feel like they can surpass that level in moments there. I feel like Herbie is an amazing player. He's got such a high potential, and so has Flegler. But what Xavier Willison is doing at such a young age, and Dean Mariner, I love to death. I think these guys are going to be a whole more added strike to that back line. That speed from Dean Mariner is going to be incredible on the wing. Cobbo in that center role. Was that rugby league history with the late ladder prediction? Yeah, bruh. To be fair, I prefer these ones over the ones. Yeah, the reason why I did this ladder prediction now, rugby league history, my brother, honestly, is just I want to get such a big sample size of how these teams look into the season. Because if you ask me, you know, a couple of months ago, I would have had the Cowboys for me in that top 4 discussion, mainly because a lot of that talk out of that preseason. But seeing the trials, I'm still iffy on a couple of things with them. You'd probably have the Rabbitohs very up high. A couple other teams we'll talk about later on. There's a lot of things that have definitely changed. Like the Dolphins had a lot of hype as well. And seeing that preseason, I'm not as hyped around the Dolphins as what I've expected to be, especially losing Gilbert and that. But anyway, back to the Broncos. Depth's incredible. Spark is incredible. Reese could hit a whole new level. In my opinion, I think he's just on a different level, but can hit a whole new level. I think he's definitely got more to his game that he can grow with. Even without him, they got Tristan Saylor that can cover that spot. Ezra Mam looked incredible in that grand final. Now he's going to have that hype around him. Whether he can stand up to that hype is yet to be seen, but he's got the talent to do that. Adam Reynolds re-signed again, so he's around for another season or two. So Payne Haas is, for me, the best front row in the competition right now, like talent-wise. If you want to go, like, obviously who wins the most and all that, Fisher Harris, but talent-wise, I think Payne Haas is like skyrockets above most, above all really. Paddy Carrigan's incredible. They're top 4, and at the moment, I got them first in the NRL next year. It's a bold one, and I just think that they have the strike, they have the ability now. There was a part of the season last year, obviously Reese got suspended due to the chatting back of the ref. There was moments, obviously, where Paddy had to be playing on the edge. These things could definitely happen again this year, but if they all go well for the Broncos, I feel like, you know, they were at top of the comp for a long time last year as well. I feel like they can take that top spot off the Panthers, and that's what I'm predicting next year. But for sure, they're top 4 discussion, 100%. All right. Nas still ain't started yet history. Yeah. Comp still ain't started yet history. All good, man. Yeah. There are a lot of people who, 100%. Yeah, I agree with you, boys. But yeah, comment down below your thoughts on the Broncos this year. Again, they look incredible on paper. I'm curious to see how Cobbo goes in that center role. There's positives and negatives there. With Cobbo, I feel like it may take away a little bit of the errors out of his game being in that center role, because a lot of these errors definitely came from bombs, out of the back end carries, that sort of stuff where he could do some like off the cuff sort of stuff and could cause errors through that sort of way. I could see him maybe getting a little bit limited touches as a center, but I also see those touches that he has. That moment in the preseason trial where Reese straight to Cobbo through, back to Reese. Just like, I was like, yeah, these guys, if they have it all going, they look incredible. Shano, Broncos building around Haas, Mam, Carrigan, Cobbo, Walshy is awesome to see. Saylor, Williamson, and Mariner, and up-and-comers. You still got Jesse Arthurs. Bro, like, this team is stacked. Broncos, top 4 from Jacko, yeah, 100%. And Nas, Williams, well, it's smarter to leave it, yeah, back to that old discussion. Yeah, 100%. Broncos are going to win. Thank you, Zooey. Yeah, well, at the moment, I got them top of the comp. Whether some discussions happen a little bit later on, whether they sit in that position, I'm not too sure. But at the moment, my predicted ladder, I got the Broncos number 1 this year for the minor premiership. This is not taking into account to grand final and all that, guys. This is just the ladder for the season. The grand final will happen later on, and obviously the Warriors is winning that, but, you know, nah, jokes. All right. Was it Jacko? Lastly, here with the Broncos. Broncos will need Reynolds to play better than the grand final to win it. Yeah, I do agree. I did think that Reno, he didn't have the best grand final, but he was obviously, he did look like he was hampered with a little bit of an injury going into that one as well. Obviously, he was holding his groin in from memory in that grand final and didn't step up in the plate 100%, but I feel like he could do a lot more this year. And I feel like there's so much more growth in this team too, so which is very, very scary. Definitely these two, Broncos, Panthers, going to be really tough this year. All right, Ned, my brother, Nenad, your beloved Dragons. So this is the one thing. If you asked me a couple of months ago who was my tip for the wooden spoon, it would have been the Dragons. Even with Shane Flanagan as coach, with all that, it was really tough for me to put him as wooden spoon winners because I also could see the positives in the Dragons to where they're going to be really hard to beat, to where I don't think they're going to be a top 8 team. I don't think they're going to be that 9 to 12 team, but I think they could be in that bottom 4 discussion, but the top part of that bottom 4 discussion. So I would have saw that. Now, after seeing the trials and also the addition of Luciano Leilua, I'm a little bit more positive on the Dragons than what I was before. Not enough to really put them out of this bottom 4 sort of bracket, bottom 5 sort of bracket as they give here, bottom 13 to 16. Currently, right now, I got the Dragons second last. I could be completely wrong here because I feel like they have just this grit in a side that there's been that many years where I've predicted the Dragons to be wooden spoon and they've proven me wrong. And a lot of it does come down to Benny Hunt as a player. And I feel like that forward pack just knows how to grind and stay in some sort of games. It's just incredible to see at the end of the season. Like, I know they got second last year, but there's been multiple seasons where we thought, Dragons aren't there, but they just hold on and they get to a better position than what we thought. I think that forward pack doesn't look bad this year either. Blake Laurie up front will probably be Francis Molo up front with him. Whether or not who they'll go with that there. 13 will probably Jack DeBellin. Luciano Leilua will be on my left side if I think that's the way they're going to go. And Jaden Sewer, who's been trialing on the left side, will probably go back to the right side. And I love that forward pack. Off the bench really does worry me. I like the Couchman brothers. I think those guys are really nice. Viliami Fafita looks really, really good. I just don't think they're good enough to get over the top of teams like Parramatta, all that sort of stuff to get around this range. I can see them battling out with the Raiders, the Dogs, the Tigers, around that sort of range. Yeah, Ned, I see you blowing up my chat, my brother. Dragons top 8, that's a massive one. And I hope you put some bets on that because if you got love for your team, bruh, you hold in there. All right, guys, next up, the Manly Seagulls. Sorry, I'm just going to take a little sip here because my voice is going. The Manly Seagulls is, when I said about swing teams earlier on, this was one of my biggest swing teams. And I think everyone's brought that up. It all comes down to Tommy Turbo on that. I would say that their roster on paper looks a little bit better than it has in years past when Tommy does go down. I think players like Gola and Garrick that could soften the blow a little bit more, being more experienced to fill in that position. And bringing in Luke Brooks in that 6 role, I think Luke Brooks is actually going to be in for a decent season, in my opinion. When I put him in this position, I keep looking at him as they're going to be a team, again, like a couple other teams that are going to bite me in the ass. But I've got the Manly Seagulls currently right now in 12th. And it's more so the fact of, I just want to see Seabold is still a massive question mark for me. And I just want to see, even with the Seagulls having Tommy Turbo fit and fresh and healthy, he was incredible last year when he was fit and healthy as well. But I do remember periods when he was healthy, he wasn't completely healthy, but where they still were struggling to get a lot of momentum and stuff through the games. And a lot of that did come from their forward pack that is fairly inconsistent. They got Jakey, he's incredible, but he gets through a lot of tough carries. Paseka needs to do a lot more, in my opinion. I love Ben Trebojevic. I hope to see more of him. And I love Josh Schuster. I see all the stick that Josh Schuster gets. I think, honestly, he's a player that's going through a lot of a big mental patch at the moment. He's got the potential to be absolutely incredible. He just needs to get healthy and get on that field and prove people wrong. And that's the biggest thing for him. But this is a team that is so hard to put in a position because I could see them from here to in this 8 discussion here. But I'm going to sit them in 12th right now. Grind Tech Industries, Warriors 4th. We'll get to the Warriors 100%, my brother. Shano, Manly season is legit based on their injuries. Yeah, 100%, my brother. That's honestly what it is. Because I don't know if Seabolt as a coach could carry them to where they need to be if Turbo goes down. Even though, as I just said before, I feel like on paper they look like they can cover that a lot better than in years past with the additions of Domi Dalao, Jackson Bolo and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, at the moment I got them sitting 12th. Jacko here, Turbo has not been great since the hammy issues. Yeah, all the talk out of the preseason, apparently Turbo is looking amazing, and there's a lot of chat about him getting up to the 2021 type speed, which I don't know, it's still yet to be seen. This is the biggest thing too. It's just going off, we haven't seen him yet, but there's a lot of chat about him being very healthy. Manly around 10, Seabolt, yeah. Yeah, agree, Jacko. Rugby league history, Manly is so hard to predict. 2019 came 6th, 2020 came 13th, 2021 preliminary final, 2022 missed the finals. And going off that, they'll probably make the finals this year. But I just need to see it first. Tommy Turbo claims, yeah, that's it, Jazzy. That's from what I've heard as well. Jacko, yet to see it, yeah. History, I've never really rated Seabolt as a head coach. He did get South to preliminary finals in 2018, but the team was mainly built by Maguire. That Seabolt team was built a lot around Bennett around that time as well too. It's tough, man. Like Seabolt, there's a lot of chat. There used to be a lot of chat of him being such a good coach, and I feel like the Broncos tenure has definitely hurt him so much. And I still yet to see it after last season with the Manly Seagulls, if that makes sense. He hasn't covered from the losses that I've seen before. So, moving on to the Doggies. So the Doggies are this type of team this year, coming into this year, where I could see them being a team, if everything goes wrong, being this wooden spoon discussion. But if everything goes right for the Doggies, I see them around this sort of area in this bottom 4 discussion. I don't see them getting any further than that. Shout out to you, Levon, bro. Thank you so much, man. Big up, Ash. Yeah, 100%. Thank you, my brother. I really appreciate it. A lot of the guys that come through to our streams there. If you haven't gone checked out Wise Up TV, check it out. Subscribe for weekly Warriors content. Me and Levon and a couple other content creators and anyone that can jump on. We just have a great laugh and just talk about Warriors footy and that. Really excited for the season upcoming. But back to the Doggies. Obviously, it all comes down to the spine. There's going to be a lot of spine talk. Whether their spine fit and healthy are better than the Raiders, I could see that. Their forward pack for me is nowhere close to that Raiders forward pack. I like Curran, obviously being a Warriors fan. Joshy, I love. William Gikau, healthy, is incredible. And Preston looks incredible on those edges. Like, the back line's great. But the front row position, Max King is one of the most underrated props in the competition. But I don't think he has enough to really carry that whole forward pack on his back through the middle with massive hit-ups. You know, we need to see Sammy Hughes get to a big position this year in his first massive year and all that. Players like Harrison Edwards are coming through at the moment. Plus, with like a lot of these versatile players that have signed that could be playing utility type of positions too. Like Salmon looked good in that 13 role, but I'd have Joshy Curran in that 13 role in my opinion. Because if you don't have Joshy in that 13 role, you'd have to have him off the bench. And I'm not too sure what his thoughts are, obviously being off the bench, you know, leaving the Warriors. I think he was expecting, you know, obviously he wants to work hard, but obviously I feel like he was expecting to sign in a starting role, 80-minute back row role and prove himself because he's incredible. But Salmon definitely proved himself in that 13 position to really come on and do something for the middle. So I like Salmon. Kurt Mann, I could see him carried on the bench. Hutcho, whether Hutcho gets that 7 jersey or he gets put into a utility role or a New South Wales Cup player, I'm not too sure. I'm still up and down on who their halves are going to be. I would love to see them go with Toby Sexton and just build with him, but I can understand why they are really reluctant to do that. Blake Taff is another big question mark for me. A massive question mark for me, honestly. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's the type of player to grab a team like the Dogs and put him in a great position. I think Critter, if Critter fulfills his potential, I know he's a center. I know everyone's going to say that. But him as a fullback, if we see it and he fulfills his potential, I think he's got potential to be a really good fullback to take them higher than what Taff could. Every time I watch Taff play, he plays very sideways. Has moments in him, but I just don't see Taff being that fullback to take him to the next level. Josh Papali'i really impresses me as well, so maybe he could fight for that fullback role as well, but there's still so much question marks over the Doggies, and that's why I got him in this sort of bottom 4 sort of range. But I could flip between these two here. Benny Hunt could definitely give me the Dragons over the Dogs. That forward pack definitely, for me, maybe a little bit better. They got players like Lomax and stuff, but Critter's now at the Doggies, so it's really tough there. I'm going to go like that. Shout out to the chat, guys. Thank you so much for all you guys coming through. If the Doggies are bottom 4, Serrato, have a nervous look around. Yeah, I still think that Gus understands that this is a rebuild phase, and I think he completely understands that. And I think Serrato is going to have a little bit more time around him. It depends on how they look on paper. If they finish bottom 4, but look a lot better than last year, I think he gets obviously a little bit more of a tenure. But if they fall into a heap and they're bottom 4, obviously there's going to be question marks. Jazz, shout out to all you boys. Yeah, shout out to you, my brother. Thank you so much for coming through. Jacko again, Doggies have massive halves troubles. Yeah, I can see that. History, I don't rate Cameron Serraldo as a head coach either. His other job at Penrith, he came in and took a team backwards in 2018 after Griffin was sacked mid-season. Yeah, there's still obviously, thoughts around Serraldo and how good he is as a head coach as well, but I think the Doggies just need to give him a little bit of time to really show, because I think defensively they look good in the preseason trials, and that's very much Serraldo's game, like in my opinion, from seeing the Doggies and seeing the Panthers and all that. I think defensively they're there. It's just the attack is just not working for the Dogs at the moment. Yeah, Blake. Shano, Doggies look solid on paper, like the likes of Birdo, Kikau. Yeah, 100%, brother. Like that Penrith combination would be really deadly. Still a lot of question marks on Birdo. I love Birdo. I just think he needs to talk more and become more consistent. And also, there's a discussion I always bring up. A lot of people hang a lot of shit on Josh Schuster as a 6 and all that. But they had very similar stats to Matty Burton, who was getting put in a lot of Origin discussions. So that was a thing that made it confusing for me where, Birdo didn't have a great year last year. He still needs to prove himself. His kicking game is incredible. Obviously, that bomb's just absolutely incredible. He just needs to get on the back of really good backline footy. He needs a halfback to put him in really good positions. I don't think I've ever seen him be an amazing talker to get a team around the park. He just doesn't look like that type of 5'8". So still question marks over him. All right. So that's a lot of the Doggies there. I got them, honestly, at the moment, around that 15th to 16 role. At the moment, I'll sit them in 16th. Just because that Dragons, like Luciano Leilua changes a lot for me. Even though that contract was pretty big, pretty chunky, I still think he helps them grow a little bit more than in years past. All right. The Gold Coast Titans. So this is a team that has potential to get into this 8 this year as well. They're very much a team like the Warriors and that of the past, where they were in the bottom 4 discussions that may have potential to shoot all the way up the ladder. They've got all the makings of an amazing football side. I think the biggest thing is we need to give Desi some time to work with these guys. Obviously, the preseason didn't look amazing. Their juniors look pretty good, but they still just need to click together. Obviously, not having Campbell and Fafita to start the season really hurts. To round 5, I think the discussion is at the moment, so that doesn't help at all. I've got the Titans currently just above Manly. I think they're in that 11th position. Desi Hasler definitely can carry them to that top 8 discussion, and that's the reason why it's so good to see the Titans sign someone like him. They just need to get their injuries in check. Their roster still has injury troubles. AJ needs to get through a full season fit and firing. I love the look of him at center, but obviously I'm more of a massive fan of him at fullback. They're still talking about their halves combination. I like Tanner Boyd. I think they should stick with Tanner Boyd and Kieran Foran, but obviously there's still little bits of chats around whether Foz should go into the 7 role. A lot of people do like the look of Brimo in that 6 role there. I would go Tanner Boyd and Foran now. I think that should be locked in. Semi Verrills needs to get healthy because that definitely is a massive key for them. I love Chrissy Randall, but seeing the injury coming out of the preseason didn't look great. Jaden Campbell's injury didn't look really good either. There's injury problems here. For Feeder, if they get everyone in the park and they look amazing, Desi puts his magic over them, I think they're a top 8 potential team this year. So I feel like they're one of those teams that can kick my ass for this prediction here being 11th. At the moment, I've got them 11th. I just want to see them do it. That's my biggest thing. Yeah, history. Josh Schuster is legally blind, 100%, bro. Jacko, yeah, Burton, yep. Zoe, Tino gonna go crazy this season. Tino's absolutely incredible. I think, for what he's done in Origin, what he's done in, Australian jerseys and stuff like that, he's an incredible player. Same as for Feeder. That's why I keep saying this Titans team has such a big potential. Mo Fodawaker, Tino, for Feeder, Fermor coming back off injury looks good. I love Aaron Clark personally. Obviously, that's a Warriors thing, but I like Aaron Clark a lot, coming through a lot of our development and all that. Chris Randall, I love. That team, I can see them being a team to push into this top 8 discussion, but at the moment, I need to see it first with the Titans. That's the thing. I need to see it first. The Newcastle Knights. This is going to be a team where I feel like it's going to be very controversial for a lot of people, where people are going to see me sit them. They had such an amazing season last year. Such an amazing end to the season last year. The start of the season was very up and down. The thing that worries me so much about the Newcastle Knights this year is the merry-go-round that their halves pairing could be. I think KP needs a solid spine that's going to sit there and build combinations. And I would go with Jacko and Gamble to start the season, even though Cogger looks absolutely incredible every time he touches that jersey and coming off the grand final year and all that. I want to keep Jacko in that 7 role because I rate Jackson Hastings a lot. I think the way he conducts the side is incredible. I feel like the Knights always seem to be a team that go like this and then can go like this. A lot of it does also come down to that forward pack as well. The Saifidi brothers need to have a good, consistent season under their belt. Leo Thompson looks incredible, but I don't know if he can carry the load by himself. Adam Elliott needs to get healthy and stay healthy. But if KP plays the way he did the end of last year, Jesus. But at the moment, I got the Knights in my 9th position. Only because I struggle to keep the Cowboys out of that top 8 discussion, in my opinion. I can't see the Rabbits dropping out. The Sharkies have a really easy draw, and that's a big thing holding me there. And they have class too. Like Nico Hines is class. The Knights could sneak in there 8. I've done multiple of these predicted ladders and had them in the 8. I just get this weird feeling they're going to fall back. I really do. Zoe, do you think Ponga will play in the halves? No, and I do not want to see him play 6. Again, I want to keep him at fullback. I think he has the potential to be a 6. But I think we've done too many experiments with Kalen Ponga at the 6 jersey. So, don't kill me, Knights fans, too, because I know a lot of Knights fans are very optimistic to the season. And they got a whole lot of hype around them, especially for a lot of people in like content creator realms and stuff like that have, I feel like the Knights and the Warriors is teams from last year that seem to be the ones that are like, who could go up, who could go down. That's the really ones Being a Warriors fan, I'm going to prefer the Warriors. I think that we look incredible and we've added great depth and great experience to really good positions. Where I feel like the Knights, obviously losing Lockie Fitzgibbon, losing Dommy Young, how much do you want to read into that? I got them in Knights. That's where I'm going to sit the Knights. All right. My New Zealand Warriors. So you know really where I'm going to be sitting with my Warriors here. I'm going to be trying to be as neutral as possible, but also I got to give you my perspective because I watch this team every game. I try to watch as much of my team as possible. The thing that excites me about the Warriors, and I think the thing that everyone forgets, and I can understand why people go back to history of the New Zealand Warriors. I do understand that. But the big thing with the Warriors this year, being a fan, this is the first time in a long time, probably till back in Cleary days, where it feels somewhat sturdy, and I feel like it feels so much better than even in those days because junior development is starting to come through now. We look like we're so sturdy in so many different positions. I know a lot of people are debating our depth at the moment, but I feel like we have a great young crop of forwards, outside backs, even in our SG Ball team. Like Jesse Sorich looks incredible in our 6 jersey in SG Ball. I really like the look of him. I think like we're in such a good position now. And if we looked at last season, I think we strengthened. And that's what I see from paper. Like Catewell for me is a plus. I know like for me, the only worries around Catewell is injuries and consistency. I think he's got the experience to get us to over the hump. Roger's a massive in. And from what we've seen in the preseason from Rog, that's the next step up from what we had last year. And I think a lot of Warriors fans will agree. Last year, we had moments where we defensively were really, really strong, where we were a top 3 team last year in defense. But then we had moments in games where we had the Roosters game in the wet. We had, I think it was the Rabbits game where we struggled to get over the line in the wet. There was a lot of games in the wet, but there was a couple of games where our attack wasn't really going the way it was until the end of last year where SJ on that right side started to get humming, but we were so right side reliant. Now getting RTS on that left side with Chance out back doing all the work, we've got such a balanced squad where I can see our left side getting play. I can see Shawnee sweeping to the left and connecting with Metz, and Metz going out the back to Rog, and Rog having one-on-ones, getting on the outside of his center and setting up Monty. But also see the added depth to that right side that was so strong last year. And just add in Niokore off the bench as a momentum forward. Like, I'm so excited for this year. And I hope you guys, ride the wave with me. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to put our boys back in that top 4 discussion. I'm going to be balanced. I don't want to put us... I'm going to put us 4th. Only because I want to see us. The only thing that we have against us is beating these big teams here. We struggled last year. We did not get a win over the Broncos, the Panthers, the Roosters, the Storm, and the Rabbits. Every other team we have beaten. So I just want to see us get a win over these guys here. And then I can see us maybe up in these sort of realms. At the moment, seeing our struggles with teams like the Storm and stuff, I want to see us get over that hump first before I say we're going to be a top 2 team. But our future is so bright, and I'm so excited being a Warriors fan. And Webby has done amazing things to get us to where we are now. Bringing Rog back has given Monty, by looks of preseason, he looks so much more comfortable with him on the inside of him. I love Bomps, and his availability is absolutely incredible. But there was moments where Bomps really made Monty have some really indecisive moments on that wing. Rog just made that look so sturdy. His timing in defense is incredible. And if we get to see Egan control that middle dictate the ruck, line breaks with Roger, Chance, Luke Metcalf in support. Dallin could be there. Man, like, oh, bro, I'm so excited for the season. I'm so excited. So comment down below your thoughts overall, guys. Back to the chat. How do you think Roger will play? Pretty much, yeah, it's sort of summed up. I think Roger will be amazing this year. From the looks of from the trials, I want to see him play center and continue to play center. I know he's an amazing fullback, but I want to keep Chance at fullback just as what he did last season was incredible. I didn't think he was going to play left side center. I thought he was going to play right side from watching him all the way through from the Roosters and all that. I thought he's a right side reliant player. He's so versatile, plays on the left side. That left foot step's just on a different level. He just breaks tackles, and that's something that we needed again last year as well, especially through the middle of the ruck. Add in Adam Fanor-Blake's last season. Shawnee saying that he could go another year around, but if he was to have his last season, there's a storyline there for us to go big this year, and we put all our eggs in that basket. But while I'm not too worried about that, these juniors that I got coming through, I feel like can really keep us at that higher note for years to come. I could see Sifakula coming in and doing work. I could see Ale coming in and doing work. I could see Alasima coming in and doing amazing things. So that's where I'm going to sit my Warriors. Top 4, I'll put us in 4th. I hope to see us at the end of the year here. But at the moment, just to be a neutral with you guys, I got him in 4th. All right. So away from the Warriors bias here, guys, we're over to the West Tigers. West Tigers this year, unfortunately, and if you asked me a couple of months ago, I couldn't see them around here. And I don't want to read into trials too much, but there's still a lot of questions in that side. I got them as my wooden spoon team this year. Now, the argument is obviously it could be like that. It could be like that. But at the moment, I just didn't like the effort that was shown in defense in the preseason trials. I just get this weird feeling that things can go wrong again at the Tigers, even though they're trying to change this. And I want to see them change this. This is why it's so tough, because I feel like I think they are turning a corner. I hope they are as an NRL fan. And I understand for Tigers fans to have a ton of hope this year to be around these marks. But for me, it's just a wait and see. I know it's a massive call to go 3 in a row with the wooden spoon calls and all that sort of stuff when you got other teams like this. If I was going to be bold, I could see a world where that happens. But just thinking it through, like that Raiders forward pack and all that, it's so tough this year, man. But that's the way I'm going to be sitting. I think the Tigers still need to nail on their halves. That could be a merry-go-round. Love Dream Buller to death. Love Api Coruscant to death. Love Stefano to death. I think everyone else just gives me like, I want to see Isaiah Papali'i get back into form. John Bateman's incredible. Waiting to see him come back. Everything else is just, I don't know. Junior Tupou's leaving the club next year, but he's going to be playing center wing this year. Olem picking up somewhat of an injury or whatever in the preseason trials. Yeah, this one was really tough for me, guys. This one was really tough, and I can understand an argument against this, but that's what I'm going. And I'm going the West Tigers as a wooden spoon. I hope they prove me wrong. It's just so tough for me to put another team like this down below. Like, these teams are all in a very similar level, and I could see that going anyway. And that's my honest opinion. Lastly, with the Dolphins. So the Dolphins, I was way more hyped on the Dolphins before the preseason than after the preseason. And the main reason around that is I think they're going to be strong and sturdy again. I think they've definitely gotten better from last year. But I also feel like the teams that are around here have all, in my eyes, gotten better as well. And they've raised their level. The video of Herbie coming off the the paddock with that knee injury by the looks of it. All reports, apparently, he's iced it up. He's going to be all good for round 1. He's fighting for round 1. But I just feel like, and their depth is there too. And it's not me saying that their depth's not there, because I feel like if Farnworth goes down, Avarillo can cover, players like that. But putting Farnworth on Asako's side doesn't impress me. I would have Farnworth next to Bostock more so, because I feel like you're taking away from, Asako's attacking ability, especially getting him outside of, Farnworth's not the best passer of the footy, in my opinion. I'd love to see Jake Avarillo on that side, in my opinion. They're still working with Isaiah Katoa. I love Isaiah Katoa and Sean O'Sullivan. Sean O'Sullivan is a player for me that is so up and down. He had a great season last year when he was in there doing well. I still get flashbacks from when we had Sean O'Sullivan at the Warriors and stuff like that, to where I just don't know if he's like NRL quality half to get him to where they need to be. I think Isaiah Katoa can grow into that, because I believe he's more of a half than a 6, where other people do think he's more of a 6. I think he's more of a half. I could see at the end of the year them getting Cody Nikorima in that 6 jersey and Isaiah Katoa in that 7 jersey. I could see that. And Sean O'Sullivan playing more of a halves mentor, you know what I mean? But it's just, it's so tough, especially you got Tommy Turbo's Manly Seagulls. You got the Titans with Desi Hasler now. You got Parramatta that could be a swing side that could fall off, but I feel like they've still got class in that jersey with Moses, Brown, Gutho, Bolo, like RCG. They got class in that jersey to not fall all the way. The Knights with KP coming off a Daily M season, to where I'm arguing to be like this. You know what I mean? Like, I can't see the Dolphins get ahead of that. So I got the Dolphins currently in that 13th position, or this position, sorry. This tier list looks weird that way, obviously, with the bottom 13 and obviously the wooden spoon staying alone. Like, my bottom 4 would be the Raiders, Dragons, Bulldogs, Tigers. My top 4 would be Broncos, Panthers, Roosters, Warriors. All in this order. What's your thoughts on that, guys? What's your thoughts? Naz, B Dragons at the bottom. Yeah, I could see arguments for Dragons at the bottom. The only thing, my argument against Dragons at the bottom is Benny Hunt, Luciano Leilua. Like, I like that. If Zach Lomax can get more of a better role from that wing position, like, I don't really like him sitting out in the wing. I don't know, but Suli looked incredible. Yeah, I don't know, man. Fleno could have that team humming. That's why I worry about the Raiders this year too. I think they have that game, and like, their forward pack is the only thing holding me on, and Ricky Stewart with the Raiders not being here around these marks. Shano, Dolphins not up with the higher tier teams. They're floating like the Titans, Parrot, Manly. Yeah, I do 100% agree with that. So yeah, guys, this is where I'm kind of sitting on. Make sure you comment down below your thoughts overall. I'm probably going to end this off. Obviously, my voice is just fucked at the moment, but hope you guys did enjoy. Hopefully, I gave some really good thoughts around why I'm going this way. I know I bounced around quite a bit, talking about a lot of other teams, trying to keep up with chat and stuff, but I thought this was really fun just to hear what your thoughts are in the chat down below. Thank you so much to everyone in the chat also. You guys have been blowing it up. It's amazing to see just people come up and just having a chat with me. I do appreciate every single one of you guys. To end off the video, this is my ladder prediction for 2024. The Brisbane Broncos, for me, is going to be the minor premiers of 2024, in my opinion. The Panthers, number 2. The Roosters, number 3. I could push the Warriors, number 3, but I want to be more balanced. So Warriors are number 4. My top 5 to 8, we're going Storm at 5, Cowboys 6, Rabbits at 7, Sharks at 8. To miss out on the 8 this year, unfortunately, the Knights, Eels, Titans, Manly. I think they're all in a discussion. Even the Dolphins are in a discussion to push for an 8 spot this year. I'd probably say they're the least likely out of these teams here. And then to end off our bottom 4 discussion, the Raiders, Dragons, Bulldogs, Tigers, in that order. And a lot of this is like, guys, this is really tough. And this is why I'm so excited for this year. Because like this could be a type of year where Parramatta, if they go down with injury, they could find themselves in this position here. If the Dragons click and Fleno gets the best out of that Dragons team, I could see them being around these sort of marks. If the Raiders have a couple of more injuries than that, I could see them down here. You know, this was a tough season. Like I could see the Warriors, if we continue to grow from last year, why not? Why can't we be here? I really can't see why not. The Sharkies are a swing team. The Rabbits could definitely be here. It's so tough. How do you think Lomax would go at standoff? Honestly, I would if... it's tough because I like Sloan. I think Sloan has potential and I think he needs more time in that fullback jersey. Now that Jack Bird's gone to that centre role, and I did really like that centre look from him in the preseason trials, it's really tough for me to put Jack Bird back into an edge back role, especially with Luch and all that there. I can understand why Fleno wants him in the wing. I just feel like it takes away from one of their more strike players in Zach Lomax. I would try to push him in that fullback jersey and maybe have Sloaney and Cup if I'm really being brutal. But I like Sloan too. So I think he'll do really well in wing. I think it just takes away from a lot of his best parts of his game though. That's the only thing about him. I think he breaks tackles well. He's got good balance. His footwork's nice. His ball playing is really good. But as a winger, the ball playing you're not going to see. And that's the big thing for him. I think he'd be incredible at fullback, in my opinion. Zoe, I think they will be just out of the top 8. Who is that, my bro? Or sis? But yeah. Yeah, guys. I think that's going to be it. I think that's very much it. I'm very high on a lot of teams here. I know that. I'm very positive on a lot of things here. But I just can't wait for the season to start, man. Because I know there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to kick my ass here. But as you know, guys, up the Warriors. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've just missed out on the stream, guys, if you're just tuning in now, there will be, obviously, the YouTube will just put it up as a video. So go check that out. That's the reason why I did the video like I did today. I just wanted to chat with you guys and see what your thoughts are all out there because I love everyone's opinions on everything. It just rounds out my opinions. I'm so excited for the season. But appreciate every single one of you guys. Make sure if you did enjoy the video, you please do like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more live streams and all that coming up in the future. I was planning to maybe do a live stream for the Vegas round this weekend, but maybe things are going to get muddled up again. So next weekend, there's definitely going to be a match day watch along where I do a live watch along. Most likely, maybe a Warriors game. Maybe it's going to be any sort of game. For the season 2 coming up, if you haven't gone checked out my TikTok, please make sure you go check out my TikTok for more fun, lighthearted content. I will be doing the combined 13s, sort of like if you watch English Premier League content creators, they do combined 11s. I want to do that for rugby league, and I've seen a little other content creators try that a lot. I want to try that, so I think that's going to be incredible. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Jazzy, shots, my bro. Appreciate you, man. You've always been there. Like, thank you so much. Or sis, I'm so sorry. I don't know your gender, obviously. I don't want to put that out there. Mitchie, up the ponies. Yeah, there's a couple of years in the chat there. Shano, Manly upset for game 1. I have a sneak feeling that that could happen. But I'm so sorry, Monty. Message me after. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Again, if you just missed out, do go, feel free and watch along. I'm not too sure how it would look as a video later on. Obviously, I've bounced around a lot with the chat and that. But thank you so much, guys, for everyone tuning in. Please feel free to comment down below your thoughts to anything after this video is live and all that. Thank you so much, guys. Let's go.